right, guys, you're looking at the thumbnail, you're looking at the title of the video. Y'all already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Guys, this is a much needed discussion today. There's a content creator slash, I guess, social figure, public figure by the name of Mr. Jason Wilson that I've seen intermittently on these internet streets for the past several years. All right. You might remember him from a viral video back in 2016 that went like this.
Check that off. Let's go. Zeus! 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 That's what this is about. Good. Let's get to that. Why are you crying? That's what this is about, son. It's okay to cry. We cry as men. Why are you crying, though, son? Come on. Tell me, why are you crying? It's called a test for a reason, but why are you crying? Go ahead, sir. Because what?
Because it is harder to do with my left hand.
Okay, good. But you did it, though. You punched him with your left hand. You know in life there's going to be things harder for you to do than other things?
Yes, sir.
And you know those things that may appear to be hard to do, you're going to have to do as a man, regardless. And it's going to take tears. It's going to take the blood of Yeshua, Jesus, and your sweat to break through it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So I don't mind you crying. I cry a lot too. You know what I'm saying? All right? So I want you just to, you're pulling your blow. I don't know if you're facing fear or you're feeling that you may not make it. And we all face that from time to time. And when we face, as soon as we have resistance, we want to stop, right? Because it's hurting. We feel that pain. We're like, I'm not going through this no more, right?
Lessons for life.
We have to go off as men. It's going to be very painful. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
As
You're a
men.
black man in this country, you're going to need mental fortitude. You're going to have to be strong here more so than here. You understand?
Big facts.
You can do it. You just got to put your mind to it. And it's good to cry so you can work through that emotion. So when it arises again, you can push it to the side and do what you got to do. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Let's see what you got. Breathe big. Hard. Tell me what hard you can.
The emotion strewn across this young man's face, I think, speaks volumes. To have gone through something that was getting him so emotional in that situation that he couldn't bring himself beyond that emotion to accomplish that task. I think this is a microcosm of an example of something that's happening before us that is true within all of our lives. The constant battle to manage emotions, to get beyond the point. You know, there's a variety of reasons why I think that this video went viral. I think number one, Mr. Jason Wilson was talking through this idea of being able to cry and deal with your emotions. And like I talk about often, you know, dealing with anything in life is like building up a muscle and going into the gym. You can't just expect to go into the gym and rep 225 10 times, you know, depending upon your weight. You have to build up to that. Managing your emotions is something that you have to build up to. It's like a muscle. You have to build up to that. And this right here is a time in this young boy's life that he's going to reference time and time again when he's faced, and maybe even unconsciously, subconsciously, he will reference this that he went through as a way to break beyond his limits. Breaking beyond your limits. It's very important to be able to understand that, to hone in on that. And there's some of us that are placed into situations that force us to break beyond our limits, but then there's other of us that actually fall under the weight of the pressure of whatever that it is. But he was able to enact this in a controlled environment. But this is a changing point in this young man's life, and I think that it did so much into demonstrating masculinity, to demonstrating manhood, boyhood into manhood, all right? And then examples of fathers in America. Now, the brother has been going on a press tour. I'll show on the Joe Rogan Experience. But he had another video that I wanted to go over. And this video is about discipline versus your desires. Without further ado.
Recently, one of my good friends was very discouraged because he's overweight. And he can't seem to stick with a dietary plan or a workout regimen. And actually, you know how we get as men, we start talking to ourselves in a negative way that, man, you really ain't a man because you can't stick to this. You would never look this way because you have a fetish for donuts and you just lack discipline. And my friend was he was literally tearing himself down in front of me. And because I love him, I had to counter the lies or the deception with truth. And I told him, I said, my brother, a lack of discipline is not your problem, but a lack of desire is. He
Pay
stopped
attention.
and looked at me, he says, man, I never looked at it that way. I said, my brother, I said, you really don't desire being here. It's a lot of men who contact me on social media, and men I run into at conferences and workshops. When we step aside, brothers, we all know many of us just fake it to make it every day. And we really aren't happy with life. We're not fulfilled. We've allowed the limited definition of masculinity to define us as who we are as God's creation. And so we stay in this box, and really this box, we can't fit in this box.
Yep.
And because of that, we lack the desire to not only improve physically, but spiritually, mentally, and even in our relationships. And so I asked my friend, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, what if you went to your doctor for a checkup and he told you that, hey, my man, if you don't start eating right and working out, as soon as you leave this office, you're gonna die in the morning. My friend looked at me, he said, man, without a question, I will start working out and eating correctly as soon as I leave that office.
One of the biggest questions, or let me say, statements or questions that I get from young men, especially when they call me on my, when I'm on Instagram or for coaching, how do I become, as disciplined as what you are? Because I see, how it is that, you're making all this content and, you working all this hard. And it's like, man, I just don't have that hunger to do it, so I find myself chilling more often than not.
I struggle with not wanting it enough. And I know you just the victim mentality, and I struggle with that. I won't lie. This is my third year of college now, and I genuinely don't have a zeal.
My question is, how do I become more consistent with the work? Well, yeah, basically, how do I become more consistent, man?
And this concept of discipline versus desire, I think, is so impactful to attack from a framework perspective. Because here's the thing, is that, yes, I'm disciplined and I try to be consistent within that, but my desire to be more than what I was yesterday or the day before that or the year before that pushes me so far into the future to accomplish things that I never even thought possible. So when he brings up this concept of discipline versus desire, yes, I'm super disciplined within my life, and I have been for a long time, but it's my desires which situate me in a place to become disciplined. I have a desire of not failing. I have a desire of showing up my best every single day. I have a desire to do what my Father asks of me, which is to be a better version than him every single day. My pops actually said something extremely profound to me recently. And it was, a week after surgery, after the whole cancer thing had started. And, he was saying it to me in the context of the YouTube channel. He said, at first, when I was looking at some of your videos, I didn't really get it. I didn't really get what you were trying to do, right? Now, my pops, meanwhile, has a 30-year career in the public city school system. So he was a school teacher. He's now retired. And he said, throughout my whole life, what did I tell you? I want you to be a better version of me. And through my career in my life, I've taught thousands of students. He said, when I look at your channel now, I see you doing exactly what I told you to do, because while I talk to thousands, you talk to millions. And he said, as a father, I cannot be more proud than you, because that's all that I asked for you to do, to be better than me. And I said, Dad, but you created that desire for me, because you put that nugget of information within my head and you repeated it to me time and time and time again, to it becoming something that I desired within my life. I agree with Mr. Jason Wilson. Switch that equation around and begin to understand, what do you desire? Just like the example that he's using, going to the doctor and finding out that your life is going to end, switches in your mind and makes you focus on a new North Star for your desire. If you want to be great, if you want to be awesome, if you want to be the best person that you can possibly be, focus on what you desire as your North Star. The discipline will come after that. Listen, shout out again to Mr. Jason Wilson. I'm going to leave his channel down below so you guys can check out his content, profound content. I really appreciate brothers just coming through and creating platforms in a way that show to really hold it down from a old school tutelage perspective. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. All right. Just like I do like all of the bad behavior videos and shit like that, which kind of brings me to a lower state, like a more stressed out state. I got to remind myself to do videos like this to make the cup runneth over. If you guys appreciated this video, let me know in the comment section down below. Last but not least, if you guys want to be amongst me, my family, my inner circle, you do that by going on my Patreon. Okay, if you want to join my inner circle, hook it up to the Discord server, private community of dope people focused on improving themselves. Link is in the description box down below. But if you just want to come and support the channel, there's also that at the Patreon as well. Feel free. All right. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.